moment you get it. Okay, so here we go. India still 4-3 leading after Harmanpreet Singh missed a penalty stroke in that first game against China in Rajgir. As we speak, PV Sindhu starting her quarterfinal against Kusuma Putri Wardani in Paris in the Badminton World Championship after Tanisha Crasto and Dhruv Kapila crashed out in the quarterfinal. Pretty poor from them. Watch that game after the high of yesterday. It was pretty poor from them. So these are the two results, and hopefully in the wee hours around midnight, Satwik and Chirag will play that same pair 1 year back, heartbreak in Paris, Chia and So. And joining me today, full house, Bharat Ramraj, Shomik Chakraborty, Shubhayan Chakraborty, Gargi Raut, to discuss what Irfan Pathan has said. 3 news points in the part 1 of that interview. Shubman Gill, all format captain, Irfan Pathan says that's the way forward for Indian cricket. Is that a debate? Does Indian cricket need an all format captain? Shubman Gill will be, that's a more or less a formality. But does Indian cricket need an all format captain? Number 2, this is the more controversial and critical part. He talks about Jasprit Bumrah and he says, if you are playing 3 test matches, then when you are playing those 3, take Lords, why are you practicing workload management within a game? Why are you not going flat out? Why do you have to bowl 4 or 5 over spells? Why not a 7 over spell when you know that the opposition hero Joe Root is out there? Why is this obsession with workload management? That's number 2. And third, he talks about Mohammad Siraj at length. Tomorrow, the part 2 will have Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma and their future and all of that. We will talk about that. But Shubhayan Chakraborty, Irfan Pathan talking about Bumrah and making that point that, okay, 3 test matches, I'm okay. But within the 3 test matches, take Lords, why do you have to balance out workload management or practice there and not bowl a couple more extra overs if needed? Is India becoming rigid or is India trying to protect Bumrah? Where do you stand?
Boyes, if you look at the overall stats of Jasprit Bumrah, he bowled almost 120 overs, 119 overs, 119 something in the 3 tests that he played, which is 40 overs a match, 20 overs an innings. So it's not like that he did not give his 100% or he did not bowl to the best of his ability. Yes, there was a phase where during the Lord's Test, where pace of Jasprit Bumrah or every other bowler, even from the England team, all their pace had dipped massively. It was below 130. It was below 130, and we were raising questions. What happened suddenly? Is it the ball? Is it the bowlers? Are they tired? Are they fatigued? But nonetheless, Bumrah gave 120 overs in 3 test matches, which I feel is decent enough. Yes, you can expect a bowler to bowl 20 more overs. But again, Jasprit Bumrah is different, and again, we have to use him wisely. I was listening to your interview; it was a great conversation. I understand the point where he says Joe Root is batting. You have got him 11 times. Why not bowl a couple of overs more? But it's not about that particular partnership. There could have been case, we don't know what the medical team suggested him before the test match. There could have been case where an extra couple of overs could have tweaked something. We don't know that. So without knowing the entire detailed medical overview of what was happening behind the scenes, I think it is a tad unfair to comment on whether Jasprit Bumrah should have pushed himself. I think 120 overs, he has pushed himself decent enough. He has bowled long spells also. It's not like he has bowled only 4 or 5 over spells. He has bowled 7 over spell also during the test series. But yeah, it's an open debate, and I think it will have polarized opinions throughout his playing career till the time he calls it quits. I think it will be a polarized debate on Bumrah.
Shumik, same question. Quick comments from all of you before I kind of move on to the other subject. Jasprit Bumrah, Irfan Pathan opening up another Pandora's box.
I totally agree with Irfan Pathan. I have watched the interview and I totally agree with Irfan in the sense that first of all I am on of the view that if you are playing in a 5-test series, if you are not able to play 5 test matches, then don't go at all. But that's my personal opinion. We are talking about Irfan Pathan's comment here. In that case, I mean, Shubhan rightly said he bowled 120 odd overs over 3 test matches, which is decent enough numbers. But I mean, if you look at his spells, 4 overs, 5 overs, assuming that he has been told by the medical team that you cannot bowl for more than 5 overs, 4 or 5 overs at a stretch, that is fine. But Bumrah, it is up to Bumrah. You have been told by the medical team, all right, but ignore it when there is a game breaking moment in front of you. It is your call to ignore it. By doing that, unfortunately, if you break down, so be it. There are other bowlers, not that you are indispensable. There are other bowlers. So but when there is a game breaking moment, go full tilt, walk the extra mile. That is my opinion. I totally agree with Irfan.
Okay, so Shubhan tries to give his perspective, and if you actually see, kind of towards the Bumrah side, saying we don't know the medical advice. Shomik says he's in agreement with Irfan Pathan. Gargi?
Honestly, I think this is a conversation we've had multiple times while we were in England as well. We spoke about this at length, and one of the stories that you broke, one of the reports that you broke, was the fact that if there is another injury for Jasprit Bumrah, if there is another surgery, or an injury, or a breakdown, that's game over for Jasprit Bumrah. That's the end of his career. So keeping in mind. Yes, you can say always that he could have gone for a couple more overs, but honestly I think what Jasprit Bumrah was doing throughout that tour was pretty much the maximum of what he could have done. I don't think Jasprit Bumrah is someone who would have said I don't want to bowl unless there was very strict guideline from the medical team. So uh, yes, I understand that a lot of people, there is a lot to be desired from Jasprit Bumrah's performance, but he had a lot of impact, like Shubayan also pointed out, one almost 120 overs. But if there's a chance of an injury that could mean the end of a career for a bowler, I don't see the point of pushing for those couple of overs. So I think what we saw from Jasprit Bumrah was exactly what the Indian team management knew, expected, and were satisfied with.
Bharat, before I go to Rohit, by the way, the comment section is also divided. Just mute the others, please. Uh, the comment section is divided. Some saying agree with Shomik, some saying no. So clearly, this is a contentious subject. Bharat, where do you stand? 2 extra overs. Basically, the point is in the 3 test matches that you are playing. In those 3 test matches, forget about workload management. Do it between tests. Plan all your rehab and all of that. But when you're going there, go full tilt. Don't hold back. That's Irfan Pathan for you. Yes, no, where do you stand?
See, I respect Irfan Pathan as a former cricketer, his opinion. But see, as Subain said, he bowled 120 overs, so he gave his all. 1.2, there could be anomalies. There could be the occasional spell, like in the Leeds test, maybe at the back end of the test, Bumrah didn't bowl. Siraj continued to bowl, and England went on to win that test. In the Lord's test, he could have bowled a couple more overs. But see, Jasprit Bumrah is akin to a Ferrari, and you can't treat Ferrari like a shuttle bus, right? So if he keeps bowling 8 overs, 7 over spells, then he will definitely break down. See what happened to Jofra Archer in 2019 Ashes. Joe Root used him in 8 over spells at Old Trafford. Then on an absolute super duper flat deck in New Zealand at Bay Oval, he made him bowl 40 odd overs. Great that he has come back, but he's still not the prime Jofra Archer of 2019. So he was treated like a shuttle bus. See what happened to him. So that is where I'm coming from. Even in the Oval Test, see how Indian. Again, I'm not blaming just Shubman Gill, but look at how the Indian management used their pace bowlers. Credit to Siraj that out of the 87 overs, he bowled 30 overs in the second innings. Credit to Prasidh Krishna that he bowled 28 overs out of 87. But still, I saw Prasidh once bowling 9 over spell, where in his 8th or 9th over, he's bowling 89, 90 miles per hour again. And Siraj also an 8-9 overs spells he bowled. I don't think the Indian management knows how to handle their pace bowlers. That's just my opinion, because India should have picked another pace bowler there. That could have reduced the workload a little bit. Same with, I think, Bumrah. He's a Ferrari, so using him over 8-over spells, I don't think over a long period of time will work. Yeah, maybe occasionally he should have bowled a couple more overs when India were in such a situation where they needed a key wicket. But I think he did his job by bowling 120 odd overs.
Raji,
And
play the
Boriaga,
clip.
it's not like Bumrah has not bowled 8 over or 7 over or long spells during his career. It's the things have changed after the Australia tour, where his back had multiple pressure points, almost on the verge of surgery, and after extensive medical advice, this particular workload management thing which we saw during the England tour was just tailor made for Jasprit Bumrah. So it's not like that Bumrah has not bowled longer spells. Look at his stats in Australia. He continued to bowl. He gave his all. He gave till the point he had to tell Rohit Sharma, "Je mere se aur dam nahi lag raha hai." So it's not like Bumrah is not giving his all for the country.
Raji, play the clip once if you have this particular clip on Bumrah, and Rohit Juglan will then take his turn, because then it's we'll kind of move on to the Shubman Gill part. There are loads of questions already. If I play this, maybe I will not be able to last out. Maybe I will break down. What happened to my career? How does one deal with that?
So one thing is that guys like Bumrah, they are very unique. They are like treasure, right? The kind of skill they have. I don't think so. Anyone, like for me, I was the first one to say that the kind of skill he has, this is the best skill we ever had. And you talk about the history of Indian cricket. The guy who can bowl in swing, the guy who can bowl out swing, the guy who can bowl bouncer, the guy who can bowl dipping slow one, the guy he can bowl the Yorker with the new ball. He started with in swing, he started with he started doing out swing now as well with his beautiful wrist position, and the kind of record he has, outstanding. Now, coming to your question that how difficult it is for a guy, because I had a lot of injuries as well, and how difficult it is for Jasprit Bumrah to actually manage. It is very difficult, and that's why the whole support system is there. If you look at it in the past as well, he was very clear. I was in NCA, I was doing a coaching course for 2 weeks. When he was coming back from the back injury, I could see, his progression was very clear. So he was bowling 5 overs one day. He would take a break next day, and then he would come again, then bowl 6 overs, and then he will progress is like that. So he's very clear. The team is very clear what to do, what not to do in terms of recovery, and how to bowl, when to bowl, and how much to bowl before you get into the game time, because he took proper process in place. So the process in place, it is in place. What I'm saying, that process is not for during the games to follow. That process cannot be followed in the game. So my point was, when Joe Root came, he bowled the 5 overs spell, and generally he bowls the 5 overs spell. Joe Root, he has got him out 11 times. Joe Root was very important. I'm talking about the Lord's Test match. And then they had a partnership. Joe Root and Ben Stokes had a partnership. There was
Rohit, you get it. That's the point he's trying to make, that the recovery is in place. You've done all of that. Lords, you needed the 2 extra overs. Why are you being too rigid? Basically, that's the point. He's not saying bowl every time. But if there is an exceptional situation or circumstance, why are you holding back and not bowling extra 2 overs? And it also depends on the management. Is the management being too rigid? आपको क्या लगता है? Was India rigid with Jasprit Bumrah? Rohit Juglan.
बट जिस एक्सेप्शन की बात इरफान पठान कर रहे हैं, उस एक्सेप्शन को वो ऐसे क्यों नहीं समझ रहे हैं कि अगर, जैसा शुभेंद्र ने शुरुआत में कहा, लॉर्ड्स टेस्ट हमने भी देखा कि बुमराह का स्पीड थोड़ा सा कम हुआ. देयर वर सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच वाज हैपनिंग एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. जो एक्स्ट्रा माइल जाने की आप बात कर रहे हो, लाइक भरत सर सेड कि वो लीड्स में लास्ट में ओवर डाल सकता था जब सिराज ने डाला. 20 रन रह गए थे, 20 रन जीतने के लिए रह गए थे. न्यू बॉल आ गया था. बुमराह गेंद डाल के क्या करता? आपके पास 10 के 10 विकेट है. जैक क्रॉली ऊपर से सब सेटअप कर चुका है, बेन डकेट कर चुका है. For 20 runs with the new ball, बुमराह आकर मतलब उस पे मुझे नहीं समझ में आता कि वो एक्स्ट्रा माइल जाना है या वो फिर अपने आप को बचाना है. Now after that हमने देखा कि वो जो लॉर्ड्स टेस्ट चल रहा था जिस वक्त पे, at that point of time there was some discussions over his speed also, and then also उसने वो फाइफर खींच लिया वहां पे He picked up the fifer. आप बेन स्टोक्स का विकेट देखो, आप जो रूट का विकेट देखो, अल्टीमेटली ऑन द नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग जो आपको गेम में वापस लाया, दैट वाज बुमराह स्पेल ओनली. नेक्स्ट डे जो आपको फर्स्ट स्पेल आपने करा, वो जसप्रीत बुमराह के ही स्पेल ने आपको गेम में वापस ले आया. 193 का अगर आपके बैटर्स फेल होकर टारगेट नहीं अचीव कर पाए तो दैट वाज योर बैटिंग फेलियर. जो बात इरफान पठान कर रहे हैं, यहां तक वो पूरी तरीके से सही है कि यार कई बार आपको वो एक्स्ट्रा यार्ड्स करने पड़ते हैं जो मोहम्मद सिराज ने किया. बट द थिंग इज, व्हाट इफ वी डोंट नो कि भाई उस टेस्ट के दौरान इज बुमराह कंप्लीटली ऑलराइट, क्या कुछ दिक्कत हुई थी, क्या कुछ परेशानी आ गई थी. अगर इरफान पठान इन बातों को जानते हैं तो उनकी बात पूरी तरीके से सही है. ही इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट that yes, if there is a Joe Root, you have a matchup against him, then go for the kill. Why can't you just add? But हमको क्या पता इस समय पर कि जसप्रीत बुमराह, like what happened in मैनचेस्टर मोहम्मद सिराज के पांव में भी दिक्कत हुई, कुछ ट्विस्ट हुआ उनका पांव, और उनका पांव एक होल में गया जो ग्राउंड के ही साइड में था जहां से वो वाटर स्प्रिंकलर्स रहते हैं, एंड बुमराह नीचे उतर रहे थे सीढ़ी से और उनका पांव ट्विस्ट हो गया वहां पे. तो सडनली आपने क्या देखा, बुमराह इन बिटवीन अ स्पेल ओवर खत्म करके वापस चले गए ड्रेसिंग रूम में. सो इन बिटवीन जो एक्सेप्शन इरफान पठान बात कर रहे हैं जिसकी, वो एक बॉलर के साथ भी तो हो सकता है, इन बिटवीन अ गेम, इन ड्यूरिंग अ स्पेल ऑल्सो. तो उस चीज को मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा सा समझने की जरूरत है. इट्स नॉट कि इन द गेम अगर आप पूरी तरीके से फिट हो यू कैन गो. अब इन बिटवीन आपको सिडनी में पता चल चुका है कि मेरी कमर में दर्द हो गया है, वो बीच टेस्ट मैच में छोड़कर जा रहा है, तो आपके लिए इरफान पठान के लिहाज से तो वो भी गलत कर दिया बुमराह ने. अगर वो सिडनी टेस्ट में बीच में विराट कोहली को कप्तानी देकर जा रहा है, क्यों जा रहे हो भाई? आप बिटवीन द मैच कैसे कर, अरे भाई सामने वाले की कमर टूट गई है, आप क्या चाहते हो आप उससे? तो ये चीज मुझे थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा लग रही है, एंड आई स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री विद इरफान पठान.
So clearly house is divided. I mean, and that's the whole point. This is an interesting debate. So, you know, we've seen multiple opinions expressed, loads of questions also there. Moving on to part 2, by the way, Sindhu is trailing 9-6 against Kusuma Putri Wardani in the first game. Can she make it to the semi-final and make history by winning her 6th World Championship medal? We've got to wait and see. And India won.
For India.
Pardon me?
India won versus China 4-3.
Yeah, I was about to say that India won 4-3 against China, with skipper missing that penalty stroke, but then converting that penalty corner. So that was 4-3 against China. Should have been more, and should have been
Yellow
more.
card in the final few minutes.
Yes, and that yellow card, thankfully 5 minutes did not really impact, because India could have otherwise had trouble. But coming back to the debate on hand, Irfan Pathan also made a very strong point about Shubman Gill being or should be appointed all-format captain. His point is, Indian team is like an engine. You have to give signal to the players that who's the driver of that engine. There has to be one man and not three, and that's how it'll run really well. And he makes the point, and a very strong point, about Shubman Gill being appointed all-format captain. That's for the betterment of Indian cricket. Gargi, play that clip, and I will start with Shomik and then take all opinions again. Leader, because he's now vice captain of T20, will be captain in the future once Surya's done, maybe after the World Cup, obviously after the World Cup, and possibly in the 50 over format as well. I'll ask you that, but how do you see Shubman Gill, the leader, shaping up?
या देखो, अगर आप पूरे दुनिया में देखेंगे ना, लीडरशिप में कंटिन्यूटी बड़ी जरूरी है. किसी जगह पे ऐसा नहीं है कि 3 अलग अलग कैप्टन आपको देखने को मिलते हैं, ठीक है. और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि जो सपोर्ट स्टाफ रहता है, जो कोचिंग स्टाफ रहता है. एक एग्जांपल है, साउथ अफ्रीका के सामने आप वनडे खेल रहे, T20 खेल रहे, टेस्ट मैच खेल रहे, ठीक है. अब इमेजिन करिए जो पीछे बैठे लोग, वो कोई भी हो सकता है. सपोज अगर वो राहुल द्रविड़ बैठे हैं या रवि शास्त्री बैठे हैं, हाउ इजी, एंड नाउ गौतम इज देयर, हाउ इजी एंड डिफिकल्ट इट इज टू वर्क विथ 3 डिफरेंट कैप्टन्स. So I understand what Indian cricket is trying to do now. What they're trying to do now is to have some stability in terms of leadership, because it's a transition period. In terms of leadership, in terms of batting as well, we saw the transition happen in England. So it is very important for Shubman to be there in the leadership group. So I totally agree with that, and I think it's very clear that the message goes loud and clear to every player. See, more than the media, more than the fans, the players needs to know. एक होता है ना कि इंजन है और उसके पीछे ट्रेन के डब्बे हैं. भाई इंजन कौन है हमारा?
So there you go. Shomik, your thoughts? Shubman Gill, all-format captain?
Once again, I totally agree with Irfan. And going ahead, Shubman is going to be the all format captain. If you look at the history of Indian cricket, split captaincy has never worked as far as Indian cricket is concerned. If you look at all of the strong captains, be it Saurabh, be it Dhoni, be it Virat Kohli, but the fact of the matter is that now there is proliferation of cricket. That's why, um, certain player will not play all the matches. So in that case, it is okay. It is fine. I mean, make Shubman Gill, and they are going to make Shubman Gill the all format captain. Make Shubman Gill all format captain, and when he is not available, suppose for for an ODI tournament, for an ODI series, he is not available. Then there could always be the next man who can assume the leadership role in stand-in capacity. But there should be one focal point. Indian cricket, as far as the team is concerned, always has thrived on having just one focal point. And Shubman Gill should be that focal point going ahead.
Bharat, by the way, somebody is saying इरफान बिक चुका है भाई. अगर उल्टा बोलता तो तब क्या बोलते? नहीं बिका यार. बोल रहे हो जब बिक चुका है तो चलो मैं बोलता हूं उल्टा बोलना चाहिए. तो नहीं बिका, चलो मैं बोल रहा हूं तो मैं भी बिक चुका हूं. जो बोलेगा यहाँ पे अगर कोई नहीं बोलेगा तो वो नहीं बिका. यार जब कुछ बोलते हो थोड़ा सा सोच के बोला करो. भरत,
can you please ask the question again, because I lost my connectivity?
Yeah, so Irfan is voicing very strongly in favor of Shubman Gill being all format captain.
Yeah, that can be done, but I always believe that first select the 11, select the squad, select the 11, then you have to appoint the captain. So if Shubman Gill can make a name for himself in T20Is, can establish his place in the T20I playing 11, then definitely yes. Till now, yes, you can say that Sanju Samson and Abhishek Sharma are also fighting for those opening slots, for the top order slots. But if Shubman Gill is able to establish himself, then he can definitely do it, because he has good leadership. He has shown the leadership qualities in the England Test series. He's someone, I think, he seems to have the respect of all the players. If you notice how all the players in the England Test series seem to respect him, that's a key factor for any captain. Some might not agree, but that's a key factor for any captain. Your players have to respect you. Your players have to believe that he's the right kind of leader. So considering that, he can do that, but hopefully he will be able to score a lot of runs at a good strike rate, and that would help him to establish his place, win the respect of all the players. And once Surya Kumar Yadav hangs up his boots, Gill can take over in T20Is, and obviously ODIs he can easily take over, because he's one of the gun players in that ODI playing 11. So that is something that is, I think, a foregone conclusion. With T20Is, I think maybe in a year or so he will be the captain as well.
So two people both saying that there is merit in this. This is the best part. Komal Singh says, what was Shubman done as captain, be it domestic or international? He's still not captain of T20. He's still not captain of ODI. What do you want him to do? Ask a question which has some sense. What do you mean, what has he done? He's not even captain. He's your captain in Test series. He's done against England in England. So that's what he's done.
He was offered Punjab's captaincy 3-4 years back, but out of respect to Mandeep Singh, Shubman said, no, let Mandeep continue as captain. I'll play under him. So it's not like that he was not offered.
You give your thoughts before I go to Gargi and Rohit.
No, Boryas, I think Irfan Bhai has merit in what he's saying. The engine talk which he gave, Indian cricket has always been dependent on that. I'm not saying I'm not saying I don't believe in split captaincy. That can work, but that requires a very smooth operating system in the cricket department. I don't think Indian cricket can have that ever, because of the egos and the fragile profiles of all the players. But Shubman Gill, as Bharat rightly mentioned, he has that respect from the dressing room. He has excellent work ethic. I don't think anyone comes closer in regards to work ethic which Shubman has right now. But going forward, I would like the selectors or the team management to appoint a very strong vice captain for ODIs and T20Is, who will be under Shubman Gill. In case Shubman is missing a couple of bilateral series. Sorry.
You want to float a name, somebody you have in mind who actually can be someone like a Rishabh Pant in cricket?
It could be Rishabh Pant, but Rishabh's place in white ball cricket is not a sure shot thing as of now. So it could be anyone. Akshar Patel, I think, can be a good vice captain candidate going
In
forward.
ODI?
Shreyas Iyer,
Shreyas Iyer.
again, if he's a certainty in the playing 11 or in the squad, then I think Shreyas Iyer definitely yes. Yashasvi Jaiswal, if they want to groom him as one of the leaders of that group, then why not Yashasvi Jaiswal? And vice captaincy as it is not a very hectic job or a very demanding job. You can learn by staying as vice captain and play a couple of bilateral series where Shubman is not playing. Yashasvi, I won't say Yashasvi straight away because he will start to play all three formats for India going forward. So it will be hectic for him. Akshar Patel right now is not playing too many test matches. In India, yes, he will play, but only 4 test matches. The home season is not that long. His again, he can operate as a vice captain. I am saying vice captain. Why? Because that someone who aligns with the thought process of Shubman Gill and Gautam Gambhir, how they want the team to play on the field. If there's a strong vice captain there, then Shubman can rest for a couple of bilateral series. That vice captain can take over with the same philosophy of the team. Gambhir is there in the back end, so it will become a smooth channel if it happens going forward. So a very strong vice captaincy candidate is required. Rishabh Pant in test, like Rishabh is there. You know, if Shubman is not playing, if he has a viral fever, if he has something, Rishabh is a capable enough leader in Test cricket. You have that strong presence there. But we are not yet certain on who will be the vice captain in ODIs or T20Is going forward if Shubman ultimately becomes the leader in both the formats. So a strong vice captaincy candidate who will have the same philosophy as Gambhir and Shubman is required, in my opinion.
Rohit, just so you guys know, Sindhu down game point 14-20 game one. Rohit.
Yeah, so I think it's completely making sense when you are saying that a three format captain. But look, it doesn't come up with that. You have to make the things coordinated. Then only you choose. Just don't go by this that you need someone just for the coordination purpose. Like if you see other teams also in the world, you'll see a different test captain maybe, and then there is a different white ball captain altogether. So it's not all the time necessary just to, it's good that Shubman did really well as far as test cricket is concerned. It's good that he's doing really well at this point of time in ODI cricket also. But then you have to see the T20 cricket, and T20 cricket, you have to see that how he will, play as far as the IPL is concerned. He was really good, but look at the number, look at that strike rate column and look at that number there. That will eventually, put some question marks over his presence there. So I think it's not by default that you have to select a player and make him a three format captain. Rather go with, as Bharat sir rightly said, that select your players first. The captain's requirement in a team is, the first requirement is he a certain in the 11? The first thing for a captain is he certain? You don't have to doubt him in the playing 11. And if there is no doubt for any player to be in the 11, then he could be your captain. But I think that just for the coaching point of view, that the coaches will feel a little more difficulty to coordinate things. I think 2+1 can you can go along with that also. But if you have someone who can play all three formats, who can be really good in all three formats, then there is no point in saying that there's nothing better than that. That play all three formats, have your one captain in all three formats. That will make things easier for the coaching staff, for the management, and everyone.
Yeah, just before I go to Gargi, just a plug. 10 o'clock in the morning, we had the exclusive with the two hockey boys, Hardik and Vivek Sagar Prasad. Watch that. 3 o'clock, we had the exclusive with Nikhat Zareen. So that was something. Sheffield Indian team is already there. We have an on-ground reporter in Sheffield for the World Boxing Championship. We'll get you that 4th of September. 7 o'clock, we have Yogesh Kathunia. 1 month later, we have the Para World Championship in Delhi. And we obviously had Irfan Pathan. So the idea was you have able-bodied sport, you had women's sport, you had men's cricket, and of course, you had hockey. So all of the planks covered, plus, as you can see, plenty of stories on badminton and football. That's what total or holistic sports coverage is all about. Gargi, where do you stand on Shubman Gill, Irfan Pathan's comment?
I think there are quite a lot of layers to this debate when it comes to Shubman Gill being all format captain, but it does make sense for him to be the captain in all three formats. First of all, if we look at the first layer of this debate, is the fact that Shubman Gill has always been someone who's been groomed such that he will obviously take over the reins of the Indian team no matter what format it is. I think that's always been the case, and I think all BCCI has always looked at Shubman as captaincy material and leadership material. The second, sort of layer to here is with the way that Indian cricket works. I think with the kind of power dynamics in play, it would not make sense to have different captains for different formats. Like, I think it was Bharat who said that it always helps Indian cricket when there's only one focal point, and I think that's a valid point there. Unless, of course, you have different you have split coaching and split captaincy. Otherwise, I don't see it working that well. But it makes sense for Shubman Gill to be the all format captain. And of course, when it comes to the third point here, I think when it comes to T20, and this is my personal opinion, that I would think someone like a Shreyas Iyer or a Hardik Pandya. Now, Hardik Pandya, of course, we know that with the kind of fragility that his body has, maybe he won't be looked at as the captain. We know that that's the case. But I think Rohit also made that point that if your captain is not starting in the playing 11 or does not secure or guarantee a place in the playing 11, then how do you make him the captain? That should be the number one thing in your team. That's where the T20 concern is just a little bit, but otherwise it makes complete sense to have Shubman Gill as all three format captain.
Okay, so yes, Shomik, I'll come to you. There was one question which the Asia Cup jersey point. Yeah, we've been continuously. I mean, I know that Abhishek and some people mentioned it today, but we've been saying this 6-7 days. The day Dream 11 walked out, 4th September, India is traveling in 7 days to get it done, deal signed, put it on the jersey. It's tough. It's very tough. So yes, I mean that is always going to be the case. That night when last Sunday, actually, when this was inevitable. Now you will see multiple teams. You've seen football, Mohun Bagan starting out without IXBet or whatever that was called. You will see all these companies going away, and you will see Indian cricket will get a jersey sponsor. But think about some other leagues where they will not get a sponsor anymore, and those leagues will collapse. And that doesn't mean I'm advocating the restart of this. No, I'm just stating some facts as to what will happen. And I'm actually concerned about something else. I don't care about whether India gets a jersey sponsor or not, because India will. And I'm actually concerned about the 2.5 lakh people losing jobs, because these people have not done any wrong. They were actually working in an industry and making their ends meet. They were running families. They have to earn their breadwinners. So every family, the 2 lakh or 2.5 lakh people who are dependent on this industry, coders, analysts, whatever you want to call them. Now think about us. If we lose jobs, what happens? I'm concerned about them. That's a far more serious question that you guys should be concerned about, rather than that just India with one jersey sponsor not there for one tournament. Doesn't matter. But this is a far larger question. Yes, Shomik.
Just one point I missed as regards Shubman Gill being the all format captain. See, purely from commercial point of view also, if you have just one captain, that makes sense, because when the corporates come and when the corporates are trying to sell the product, then they need a face. And if you have different faces for different tournaments, stuff like that, it makes things complicated for them. So from that point of view, purely from the point of view of economics and commerce, it's always advisable to have just one face. You are having 50 over World Cup in every 4 years. In between, you will have the Champions Trophy. The T20 World Cup is a 2-year cycle. The World Test Championship is a 2-year cycle. So those are the mega events, and you have those marquee series versus England and Australia. So these are the mega events. This is where these are the series, or these are the events that gives BCCI the money as far as international cricket is concerned. So when you have just one face to sell your product, that is always viable in terms of commerce. And Gargi, just one point, that focal point thing, I made that point, that focal point thing as far as India captains is concerned.
Okay, quickly, I know Rohit, Shubhayan, and Shomik, all three of you have reached out to multiple sources about the Duleep Trophy. Some of you have tweeted also. Shomik, you sent me the message that you got. Any answer that you all have? Why Duleep Trophy is not being broadcast? Is there a reason? Quick answers. Shomik, Shubhayan, Rohit. Anyone? Shomik, you first.
Semi-final and final will be broadcasted.
Is that
Knockout.
basis the contract that X number of days will be broadcast based on the existing contract?
Let
Exactly.
Sumit.
Exactly.
Okay.
There is
Final,
a
I think.
bouquet.
Semi-final भी है.
There is a bouquet. X number of days matches live telecast will happen for X number of days, and beyond that it will not happen. So this
But
is the
can't there be a provision that beyond these days, even if the match is broadcast on YouTube, what's the problem? Why can't the games be broadcast? Because now
No,
in a
no.
media age that is become commonplace that every match is broadcast, etc. Some a tournament as important as Duleep Trophy, is there fan engagement? Yes, there is. So is there a reason for people to be anxious about it? I think I do think there is something that one needs to debate there.
and
One needs to
also
debate.
beyond YouTube, if star or the host broadcaster is not being able to broadcast some matches live, give those matches to Doordarshan. Well, I mean, there is no harm to give those matches to Doordarshan and to make those matches available on terrestrial television. That will serve. I mean, that will be fair to the cricket lovers.
But yeah, few quick points here. Initially, the matches were to be held in Chinnaswamy Stadium and not the COE. COE was done after the KSCA thing happened, Stampede thing happened. So I know these are vague reasons, vague excuses, but the shift of the venues was one of the reasons that the operational team could not get to in COE right now in the grounds where the matches are being held. There is no place to place a camera. You need an elevation point where you can place the cameras. So to go there and make a temporary stand, 4 temporary stands for the cameras to happen, if you want broadcast quality, that was not possible. That was told to me. Secondly, the BCCI does not believe in the YouTube thing. They don't have a YouTube channel. They don't believe in the YouTube policy. I had this long chat during the BGT in Brisbane or Melbourne, I think, I don't know, where we discussed why can't BCCI go and put videos on YouTube. They can make huge load of revenue from there. And the answer was that if we start putting videos on YouTube, it becomes a public material. Anyone can pick up those videos, use it on Instagram, use it on other social media platforms, even on YouTube by correcting things. So the entire thing, the match footages don't remain only exclusive to us. If we put it on BCCI website, like we do, that remains our own content. No one can. Yes, you can screen record and pick it up again, but that where we can have a legal thing that it was illegally taken from us. So that's BCCI's take on YouTube policy. That is why BCCI or Indian cricket team don't have a YouTube channel. And thirdly, it was already decided before the tournament started that they will be televising or streaming the semi-finals and finals. It was already pre-decided. It is not something which happened after the social media outrage. But I again will say one thing: if you want your players to be serious about domestic cricket, if you want your fans to look at domestic cricket, domestic performers, then please try to stream as many matches as possible. If you want to break your opinion on YouTube policies, that's your call. If you want to stream it on JioStar platform, do that. As Shomikda suggested, if you and you can give it to Doordarshan, but Doordarshan again don't have their production thing. So it will be JioStar who will have to use their production and then lend the footages through Doordarshan. It's not a easy thing. But whatever you do, make sure trophies matches. I can understand it's not possible to stream all the Ranji Trophy matches at once. There are multiple matches that happen, but your premier tournaments, Duleep Trophy, Irani Trophy, the other trophy, Ranji Trophy, from the main matches where the stars are playing, the big teams are playing, try to telecast that, try to stream that. Otherwise, you won't have that. Now imagine a Mohammad Shami. I can understand Mohammad Shami does not require a televised matches. He's already an established name. But What about the Jharkhand's left-arm spinner Manish, who picked up 3 wickets? What about Bengal's Suraj Sindhu Jaiswal picked up 2 wickets this morning, 3 wickets in total. They are playing their first ever Duleep Trophy game. They would want the world or the India to see and talk about them on social media. If you don't start to build their profiles by televising these matches, then some odd day you will see Manishi having a debut. He does not bowl well, and all the social media trolls will come like what happened to Anshul Kamboj and say अरे ये कौन बॉल डाल रहा है 120 पे ही बॉल डालता है because people have not seen a lot of Anshul Kamboj. That is the main reason. So televising, streaming the matches is very, very important. Yeah, at least your market tournaments. Otherwise, you can't demand your players to be serious about domestic tournaments.
I buy that point, and my only point is, and I also understand it was well explained by Shubhan as to why they are not doing it. My only point is you warned
Batsman
about.
never scored 200, but people will never know it was against a northeast
Correct.
zonal side who are bowling 120, 118 deeply doublies.
Exactly, and 432 for 2, and you will say, okay, this guy has scored 200. So 200 against them will be equated with the 200 against an attack which has Mohammad Shami and the rest of the boys. It can't be. I mean, you have to understand that these that Mohammad Shami, Suraj Jaiswal, that attack, or even Harshit Rana and Arshdeep, that attack is far superior than that northeast zone attack. So you've got to understand these things in
Now
perspective.
people will come out and say, hey, Mohammad Shami is finished. He has picked only 1 wicket, but they won't know that the pitch it has grass, but it is only in the one area of the pitch which has grass, which is outside the tappa where the pacers put out. Otherwise, it's a spin deck.
I agree. I totally buy this. My only thing is, while I understand that okay, it was difficult in COE and all of that, you've got 7,000 crores in profit in 1 year from IPL 6,000. Spend 100 crores, big deal. Spend 100 crores. You are plowing back. The BCCI is the BCCI because it's the best administered sports body in the country. That's how India has that kind of talent. Put in another 100 crores. Put in another 100 crores in broadcast out. Give it to JioStar and say, okay, we will. You don't need to make profit here. We will back it up. Think about it. You don't have ISL now, right? You don't have ISL till December. You had a window. You lacked football content. You could have put out the Duleep Trophy morning, evening. You could have put out highlights in the evening, football covered. Generally, it's from mid-September that it is ISL content right up to April. So now, September, October, November till mid-December, you don't have Indian football. So you had a clear window. So why not put in some money and show domestic cricket fullest? Change your policy. Tell JioStar.
Rajat Patidar scored a century. You had the opportunity to get all your RCB fan base to watch that particular game.
As I said, I buy that. I'll take closing comments, and from everyone. Today's National Sports Day. A minute each. Shomik Chakraborty, Shubha, and Gargi and Rohit. Rohit, I'll start with you. What does sport mean to you? Because National Sports Day, Dhyan Chand, all of that is fine. Nobody remembers Dhyan Chand. People have forgotten about him. This is a day when finally people talk about him. This is one man who he was a Lance Nayak in the Indian Army, damn it. I mean, and he had no money, nothing. When he landed in England in that 1928 team, he was taken by Jaipal Singh to Austin Reed. And now you all have been to Central London with us. You know one of those retail stores, Austin Reed, and Jaipal bought him one pair of trousers, one, because he didn't have money. So he had only one pair of trousers with him. So he was bought one pair. And he said, मैं क्या इसको बाहर ले जाके इसका color देख सकता हूँ क्या? That is how humble this man was. And from there on, 13 out of 28 goals for India in the Amsterdam Olympics. Unreal. And then 36 and all of that stuff. So Dhyan Chand, why no Bharat Ratna yet? I mean, that is a debate that we don't want to go into because the cows will come home. Having said that, let's take 1 minute each. What does sport mean to you? Final 4 minutes on the show. Rohit Juglan, you start.
I think first of all, I think that news, I think a couple of years ago when this completely thing was changed, from Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award to Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. I think that was a big thing for me at that point of time because we always, from our childhood, I think we always listening to these debates when, especially after when Sachin got the Bharat Ratna, that why not Dhyan Chand? So I think from that to this day, I think yes, now because we are somewhere related to sports and day in and day out we are covering it, so it's a good day. But I'm not feeling anything. Yes, just happy sports day to everyone, especially to the players. But I'm sorry, Burada, I don't have anything on this. Means I'm not feeling anything of that kind. But yes. the only thing which makes me happy is at least
No,
in
what does
one.
sport mean to you? For you,
Sport.
what is
Okay.
sport?
Okay. What sports mean to me? I think everything, Burada, because I really like to, really like, not just commenting on the sports, but if I am in any kind of other job, means if I was in IT or some kind of business thing, I've done my +1 and +2 in commerce. So if I was somewhere in business studies, I'll definitely watch things which I used to watch now. Yes, now I watch more because it's my work, but I take time. I'll take time out and go.
Think there is an internet issue there? No.
It's there.
Yeah, you're back. Tell me, you're back. I'm already back.
Yeah. So I was speaking to Shubhanda in London also, that how amazing it was just to go and watch a game in maybe somewhere in a match of Man City or a Man United match, and we were discussing this, or some match in Wimbledon, or we were discussing about the F1 race also. So it's not about cricket only. Love different sports also.
Hockey in
And
Netherlands.
um,
Hockey
huh?
in Netherlands. Hockey in Netherlands.
Yeah, everything, we were discussing each and everything. So yes, sports makes me happy, and it's always a part of my life, not from last 8 years, from when I joined the profession, but before that also. I got scolded because I used to watch the Zimbabwe and Bangladesh match in my in my house, and my mother used to say that who watched Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh at that point of time. So from now
I
till
will
then,
tell you, I
it's
will
part
tell
of
you
the.
my Zimbabwe Bangladesh story at the end of the show. That is my story. Now that you've changed my story, you've got to listen to this one. Good one that you mentioned. Show me your 1 minute.
If I wear my reporter hat, what sport means to me is fairness, justice, a level playing field, um, fairness, and uh, ethics, which doesn't include monketing. So that is, as a reporter, this profession has given me the opportunity to watch and watch the champions up close and personal, to have interactions with them, to get enriched by their champions mentality, stuff like that. That is purely as a reporter. And if I wear my fans hat, and totally, if I'm allowed to be completely biased, then what sport means to me is Manchester United, and nothing else matters.
Shubhan, I know you're laughing. I'll give Gargi the next one, and I'll close the show with my Zimbabwe Bangladesh
No.
story.
Sports, I think I always tell young parents or youngsters who are very young that no matter what, try to place one sport. It will teach you a lot of things. It will teach you human skills. It will teach you about how to lose. That's the most important point. How to lose and not be bitter. It will teach you how to lose and learn from those mistakes. It will teach you teamwork. It will teach you loyalty. As Shamikda said about Manchester United, sports teaches you about loyalty. If you are a fan, you will wake up at 2:30 in the night and watch the match till 5:30 because your favorite team is playing. It will teach you.
Even when
Yes, it
you're
will
gonna
teach you.
lose.
But I remember Manchester City versus
Shubham, knowing
Tottenham in
full well,
Champions League.
staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing full well we are getting battered by Grimsby Town.
No, I remember that match between Manchester City and Tottenham where Raheem Sterling, I think it was the Champions League quarter final. Raheem Sterling scored a 98th minute winner. I was celebrating. After a minute, the VAR screen showed it was offside. I was down. I was out for a week. So it will teach you how to come up after a devastating loss, after something you have never expected. It will teach you moments. It will give you moments of happiness. It will teach you teamwork. It will give you human skills. No matter what type of sport it is, be it e-sport, be it physical sport. Physical sport, I would say, be it anything: table tennis, badminton, hockey, cricket, football. Pick up the ball and start playing with your friends. You will have a great time. It's a great mental buster, stress buster. So sports is one sport. I think Indian government should also make it mandatory, not sports classes, but one sport, make it mandatory for students to going forward.
Gargi, 1 minute.
See, I've grown up playing as many sports, or more than I think more than I can count on my fingers. So sports and I have always, grown up together. I can't imagine my life without sports or fitness or anything that involves the word sport is something is somewhere I think I belong. And I can't imagine my life without sport. But uh, and it's something that teaches you so many life lessons. I think it's a complete reflection of what life is, and I have had multiple conversations with you as well that if it wasn't for sport, I have no clue what I would be doing. And there are several moments throughout my career where I'm just sitting, I'm either watching a game, be it cricket or any other sport, it does not matter. Even if it's a random match, even para football or something like that, I will be sitting and thinking, oh, 12-year-old me would be stoked that I'm doing this. And this is my life and this is my career. And what I used to think was the love of my life, sport, is now my job. I can't be more grateful. No one can be more grateful to say that.
These guys, I love each of them. Why? Because the fact is, none of them will make millions with sport. None of us will. But we love what we do, and we do what we love. That's the whole point. People are asking about Tokyo. I got Bharat to get the accred. I pushed the boundaries to get the accred for the World Athletics Championship. There was an issue with the Japan visa, which is why I can't send Bharat. But his accred was done, Bhavik. So when you asked me, Bharat will come with me to Dubai, but from England, I turned everything upside down to get the accred done. We got the accred done, but there was an issue with the visa. Otherwise, I would have loved. Yesterday, I'm sure you've seen, I had sent Vishnu Reddy to cover the Neeraj Chopra Diamond League final. I mean, Vishnu did the coverage for us. So everywhere you will see Rev Sports going. Somebody said Rajgir and some other platform going, the less said about the better. Go and ask them who's playing. I don't think they even know that. So I don't want to go into further details on that. But my own story, Rohit said Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh. Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh, you said, right? Yeah. So my wife and I, we hardly fight. We've got the strongest marriage, and we've been together for 29 years now. So she was a student at the University of Chicago. Neither of us had money. We used to have a 1-bedroom studio. Not even that. One little room in Chicago, and with 1 futon bed. A futon bed is that loha ka jo bed hota hai, usme ek mattress tha, bas wohi tha. And so we shared that when she was a PhD student there. And at 2:00 at night, and we had a desktop at that point in time, laptops weren't there. So we had a desktop, and I was watching Zimbabwe, Bangladesh at 2 a.m. in the morning. And the glare of that desktop was hitting Shormishta in the eye. And she got up at 2:15 or 3:15. It was 2-3 days before her PhD viva. And she looked at me and he said, who's playing? So I said, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. And she looked at me. I realized my marriage is on the rocks. I might as well shut this down and go back to bed. If I don't, then I'm being thrown out of this house. At minus 32 degrees centigrade wind chill outside, I've had enough. So मैंने उसको बंद किया and सो गया. So that's my Zimbabwe Bangladesh story. But I could have had a career and made tons of money. I've had a very good academic career. The fact that we all do sport is because we are all addicted. We are not addicted to drugs, but sport is our drug. It is our opiate. It is something that makes us going. I mean, ask Rohit Juglan or Gargi Raut or Shubhan or Shomik. When they're at their worst, they're depressed, they're unhappy, they're sad at midnight. What do? They watch sport. Same with us. Sindhu's just won the second game. That's what sport is all about. That's why my only time in my life when I had depression, maybe clinical depression, is during COVID, when all sport had come to a standstill in the world. And I thought, so then what I do has no meaning. So everything that I've done all my life and written and taught and studied sport has no meaning because there is no sport. That's the only time I had depression. So National Sports Day, for us, every day, 365 days is National Sports Day. But to anyone associated with sport, if you're a fan, you're an administrator, you're a watcher, you're a player, you're a journalist, you're a broadcaster, you're whoever, happy National Sports Day. It's the one thing in the world that keeps us all going. I think it's been a long show. Shomik Chakraborty, Shubhan, Gargi, Rohit, thank you very much for joining us. Watch the Irfan Pathan Part 2 tomorrow. We are launching a sports tourism show tomorrow. And on Sunday, to climax our National Sports Day weekend, what does health and wellness mean to India? A special show with Milind Soman also coming your way. And Milind tells me that last week in Estonia, the Ironman happened again. And Ironman, the toughest challenges for any human being. You know what? 80 people from India, 80, 80 people from India participated in the Ironman in Estonia. Even the organizers were astonished. That's how India has taken to health and wellness. So Milind Soman with me on Sunday. Join us for that. Plenty coming your way. Thank you very much for watching.